big thing in weight loss have been turning to the ketogenic diet. But what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. Registered dietitian Amy Reed joins us to explain the problems with putting your whole family on a keto diet. I've heard so much about keto over the past couple of years, and I had never heard of it before, and then everybody's on it. But it's not always great for everybody. Let's start by telling people what exactly keto is, because I think maybe people think they know what it is, but may not exactly.
Well, the ketogenic diet, what it is most of your calories are going to be coming from fat, followed by protein. Very minimal carbohydrate. In some cases, they may only allow 15 to 30 grams of carbohydrate a day. And to put that in perspective, that might be one whole banana, a couple glasses of milk. It's very minimal is what that would be. And the purpose is so typically our bodies function, so we break down carbohydrates into glucose for our main source of energy. But when we're on the keto diet, you're not taking in carbohydrates, so you're forcing your body into what we call ketosis. And that's when you're breaking down fats and protein to be your main source of energy. It's basically forcing your body to run on its backup battery system.
Interesting. So I think this was kind of developed, if I'm correct, for epilepsy, people with epilepsy?
Yes, so that's my experience with it working with children, is it's been studied and shown to improve seizures in children that are unresponsive to medicines to treat their seizures. And so that's been very effective for those children. But they are followed very closely by a medical team that includes a registered dietitian.
Now, is the same thing for adults? Do adults with epilepsy use this kind of diet as well?
They can too, and again, they're followed by a medical team that includes a registered dietitian, because through the years when they've studied the ketogenic diet for epilepsy, they've discovered there are some side effects, which is why you need to be followed by a medical team. The biggest one is constipation, because these are all the foods that could be eliminated on a ketogenic diet. And you've got some dairy, you've got legumes and lentils, you've got whole grains, and you've got many fruits and vegetables. So you've got fruits and vegetables, whole grains and legumes and lentils, all great sources of fiber, not typically allowed on the diet.
Gotcha.
So therefore that's why you'd have constipation issues.
I've also heard that people get the keto flu. So that's another side effect, right?
Yes, and that's initially in the initial phase of it. I think it can take like up to a week. And that's just where, because your body's changing. This is not how our bodies are designed to function. So we're changing that a little bit.
Now, so why is this not good for kids who don't have epilepsy?
Well,
or dangerous, I guess.
So for one, so I talked about the constipation. Two, and the long-term studies, they also show that some kids that are on this may have bone problems. So like a lot of times you might need a calcium supplement. Again, why the kids that are on it for medical purposes are monitored very closely. The other thing is, in long-term studies with kids with epilepsy, they've seen that there might be an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, possibly even poor linear growth if they're not followed closely. And it's also, if you look at it, it's very restrictive. And science does say that if you restrict highly palatable foods, and we're not talking just like cookies, cakes, and candies here, we're talking fruit.
Things with a lot of nutrients.
Yeah, with a lot of nutrients, it makes kids maybe more obsessed about those things, and then when they're exposed to them, they don't know how to control themselves around them, and it can result in overconsumption.
Okay, so not for the kids unless they have a medical issue and they're being followed very closely by doctors, as well as nutritionists. Just quickly, we don't have a lot of time left. What are your thoughts on this for people who are adults who are using this to try to lose weight?
Well, I think if they are a parent, one of the things they need to think of, they first need to talk with their doctor to see if they are a good candidate for it. If they are a parent and they're the primary food provider for the family, how is that going to affect family meals? Because if they're not eating it, do they want to cook it? And we know there's really great benefits for family meals as far beyond health, beyond your nutrition. And the other thing is looking at how is that going to affect your children to watch you severely restricting. Do you have a child that may be at risk for an eating disorder? Sometimes just watching a parent go on a really restrictive diet can be triggering for an eating disorder in some children.
Okay, so a lot to think about. Talk to your doctor if you're thinking of doing this this diet, and definitely don't put the kids on it unless you're have a medical reason, unless they're being watched by a medical team. Okay, AmyReedNutrition.com, right?
Yes, and there's all this. I have a post today on my blog about it.
Okay, so lots of information there. Well, always great information. We appreciate it. I know this diet in general has been kind of controversial. Works for some people, not for others, but definitely something to look into more. All right, taking a look, or no, we're going to go ahead and go to break. We'll be right back.